Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. This is my presentation on children's literature and the three books that I chose. The first book that I chose is Be Who You Are. The first question says, "What is or are the social issues addressed in this book?" Um, Really, children being afraid of expressing themselves, not being, um, proud of where they come from, their background, where they were raised, what house they grew up in, what color they are, what color their hair is, just being who they are. What age range is this book appropriate? I would say age 3 to 6. Does the book tell a good story? Yes, the book explains that you should not be ashamed of um, where you are from, what color you are, or even what type of character you are. Meaning whether you are silly, really, whether you're a silly person, you are sweet, whether you're smart, um, a class clown, whatever it might be. Just not being afraid of who you are. Do the illustration enhance or extend the story? Yes, they do. Illustration enhance the story. For children so young in age, they are able to see the different colors/backgrounds. For example, on one page it showed different types of places to live, and I'll show you on the next place. On the next page, children that age may not know, where all you can stay or where all you can come from. So having different types of places, can provide them with the support that they need to understand that, not everybody comes from the same place. If you were the author, how would you write this book differently? I love this book and I think it's perfect for the age group. However, I may provide an insight on why it's important to be you. This book said, be who you are, but it never said, why is it important to be who you are? Um, if that makes sense. Um, but it just, kept saying, be proud of where you came from, but why is that important? You know, why is it important for you to feel that way, or a child to feel that way? What is your overall opinion? Overall, I love the book, and I think it's, important to promote a child's confidence at such a young age. If they get that confidence at that age, the older they get, the more confidence, they would build, the more they would be open to themselves and about themselves. Follow up activity. This is the um, page I was talking about. You might be from a city, from a small town, from a circus, from, a farm. Um, here's a dog in a doghouse. You might have a lot of money and be from have a castle in your family. Um, and this one over here, it talks about, the illustration enhancing everything. See, this dog is being happy. This dog is mad. This dog is sad. Um, this dog is proud. He has a crown on his head. Scared, silly. He has socks on his ears. That enhances the child's learning of the book. While reading the book, you could pause and have students draw themselves, their classmates, their home life, or where they may be from. They might draw a barn if they're from, a farm. They might draw, New York City if they're from the city. Um, Maybe they come from someone who works at the fair, so they might draw a Ferris wheel. Have students draw a picture of themselves and how they see themselves. Whether they're silly, maybe they're strong, smart. A class clown, they might draw, like themselves with a red nose. That's just a couple examples of an activity that you could do afterwards. My second book was Who's in My Family, and all about our families. What are the social issues addressed in the book? Talks about diverse families, including same-sex couples. There are all different type of families all over the world, and even single parent, whether it's the father or the mother. I would say its age range is probably pre-K to grade 2, so 4 to 6, 7 years old. Does the book tell a good story? This book tells a story about a brother and sister and their family going to the zoo, and their different animals can lead to different cultures. At the zoo, they saw, the different types of animals and animals living together, and animals being separated, animals having, like, I think it was a polar bear having two cubs, and how humans can have, twins, and um, different color animals, the different color tigers, and there's different color people all over the world. Do illustration enhance or extend the story? Yes, they do. Provides visual for the student, provide pictures of the different colors throughout the whole book. You can see, the different colors of the people, the different colors of the town, I think it's like the farmer's market in town. Children at such a young age, it's important for them to see all the, different colors of the people, of the places, of the animals. If you were the author, how would you write this book differently? I thought the author wrote the book exceptionally well. I thought the author provided wonderful insights of how the families can be different. I wouldn't really write it any different. What is your overall opinion of this book? I love this book, and I love the pictures provided inside the book. I love the connections that were made between going to the zoo and human families, and how every family is different. Whether you're, African American and white, Asian and Mexican, Chinese, Japanese, every family is different. Two males, two females. Follow-up activities. Students can use Venn diagrams to compare and contrast what they see in their world compared to what they saw in the book. Throughout the book, you could teach settings. Like I said, they were in town at the farmer's market. The different events in the book. They were at the zoo at one point. And you can discuss the characters throughout the book. Someone old, someone young, the different races. You can also have them make their own family tree. You have grandma and grandpa up here at the top. And then you have maybe, I don't want to say but person of different color. Then they have one that looks like mama and the other one's like daddy. Over here is an African American lady and a male, a white male, and they have two children. Um, different families all over the world. But you can have them make a family tree. All right, the last book that I chose was Stick and Stone. What are the social issues addressed in the book? Bullying and friendship. For what age range is which book appropriate? 2 to 5 years maybe. Does the book tell a good story? Yes, it talks about, a stick and stone being alone, and then like a boy and a girl being alone, and then someone coming along and bullying, either the boy or the girl, and then the other person takes up for that person. So it has a great story about friendship. Do illustration enhance or extend the story? Um, like throughout the story, like at one point, it had words like, I think it was like "bang" because the stone had to save the stick out of the water. So it really, enhances the story, and the children are able to see what's going on through the story. If you're the author, how would you write this book differently? When reading the title, you think it's going to talk more about bullying because, of the saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." However, it was more about friendship than about, bullying. I would talk more about the bullying, or maybe a different title, such as a unlikely friendship or unlikely bond. Um, because just by reading the title, it says Stick and Stones. I don't know if you all are familiar with it, but sticks and stones being a part of, bullying. What is your overall opinion of this book? I thought the book was very cute and interesting. I thought it could build friendships among the students who were unlikely to build a friendship. The one that the student that is all so quiet in the classroom could become best friends with the class clown. It's that unlikely bond that will last forever. Follow-up activity, you could talk about friendship and how students can become friends. You can even have them do a secret handshake. What do you think they like in this picture right here is Stick and Stone going through the cave. They're on an adventure. Um, you can enhance, their thinking by asking them or having them draw it out of what they think they saw in the cave. They might draw bats. They might draw a bear. Um, and you can also have them make friendship bracelets, since the whole book was about, two unlikely, a stick and a stone, becoming best friends. My reflection, it says, tell us how reading these books and evaluating them made you feel. Made me think about all the students inside of my classroom and how each student comes from different backgrounds. Each student has a different experience with school, whether it is bullying, family, or maybe their insecurities. I have several, diverse students in my classroom. Some from same-sex marriage, some from, different race marriages. I have students who are being bullied and picked on in the classroom, and it just made me think, about all of my students and, the background that they come from. And the students, insecurities. I have some that don't say a word. I have one, that's so afraid to talk because, he's afraid of being bullied. Um, so it really made me think about them and what I can do more inside of the classroom to get them to open up. Did anything you read surprise you? I didn't feel like anything really surprised me while reading the books. Did anything you read give you a different perspective? As mentioned, it made me think about the life of my students. I now want to provide more activities within my classroom to get more insight of my students, to figure out where they're from, who they are, what their experience is like at school, and to, better understand them. Is there anything you would change about this assignment? I wouldn't change anything. In the reading, um, connecting it to our reading, I thought this was, pretty good. I didn't realize it was going to do this, but in the reading, there was a passage about a little boy named Justin. Justin come from, he lives in a shelter. He's afraid of not having any food. But in the story, it said, he was caught eating in the classroom. They would find leftover food in different places, but he wasn't afraid. He wasn't ashamed of leaving food behind. I know my students, if they left food behind, they would be ashamed of it. You know, um, they're ashamed of what they wear to school, what they you know how they feel in the class. They're ashamed of many different things. But this little boy, he was not ashamed. He was proud, and I thought this connected to, be who you are. You are who you are, no matter what background you come from, whether it's poverty, whether, you've been bullied a lot, no matter what, you are who you are, and it's important for you to be that person. Um, that concludes my presentation, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you.